So hello everyone, welcome to today's community call. Please remember to put your name into the ACMD agenda under the Who Join section. And please remember that during this call, the CF code of conduct applies. So please be kind to each other. And last but not least, this call is being recorded. So if you don't want your face to be in the recording, remember to turn your cameras off. So moving forward, Federico, the first point is yours.
Oh, nice. We got recently we got a pull request for Falco to fix a stupid issue that I made, basically. You all know that Falco 0.32.1 was the one that had the support for the ARM64. But there is an issue if you can open it, JSON. Pull request, sorry. Basically, when I updated the Falco downloader script with the new path to download the drivers from our S3 Amazon repository, I forgot to do the same for the probe, so I just did it only for the kernel module. And basically, that means that nobody is able to fetch a pre-built PBF probe for Falco 0.32.1. The fix is stupid, as you can see, but we were thinking if that could be a good idea to make a new bug fix release for Falco just with this one. We will probably need to branch the 0.32.1 release and then cherry pick this commit, basically. I think that could be valuable, really valuable in this case, even if the next release is just a couple of months from now, but it is a small fix, but it has a huge impact. So
when I first saw this PR, the question that I had is how come people didn't know this that much? And then I realized that probably most folks just build the DPF probe as a fallback, and that has success. So I think it's worth making a fix release for this. We are forced to do the branching and cherry picking this time because there's been some PRs merged that change the rule sets a little bit. So there are some, user-facing changes that we don't want for an hotfix like this. Plus, in the future, I was still gonna propose going for a branch-based model for the new releases because I see we face much overhead every time we release by blocking the libs of Falco development. So these may be a good opportunity to test this out and see how much overhead the release manager has to face. So plus one from me. If we are all on board, we need a release manager and, start working on it.
I completely agree with Federico and Jason on this. And the second point, if I can, I would propose myself as a release manager because I would learn how things work behind the release, and I think this is a great opportunity to do this. So if it is okay for you, or if there is someone else, I'm here.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Also, if someone wants to shadow the process, it's okay. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. If anyone wants to shadow and see how it works, I can propose myself to help as a maintainer of the repo to test out the branching model for this release. And
thank you, Jason.
Also, me too, if you want.
Yeah, I need a Falco maintainer for this.
Yeah, again, sorry for this stupid bug. I'm really sorry.
Federico, you basically brought ARM64 support as a whole, so I couldn't expect this to work 100%. So it's already good. Don't worry. Okay, we'll probably go through this again next week. So if you have any questions that you don't want to ask for now or that are not on top of your mind, there will be plenty of time, I guess. Next point on the agenda is from Vicente.
So you guys know I've been working with DriverKit lately. I've been fighting with it a little bit. So I'm working on documentation for the site, and then I realized there were some difficulties to find the right stuff soon enough. So I was thinking of doing some changes to the Falco documentation, and I wanted to take the Kubernetes model as an inspiration, as a source of inspiration. So I would like to propose myself as a reviewer for the Falco website. I'm not proposing myself as a maintainer just in case I break it. I'm not an expert in Hugo, so it's kind of delicate modifying any kind of existing documentation and breaking links and all these stuff. So I would love to ask for your help. And if there is anyone else that would like to help me, well, the idea is to propose changes, to bring them here, to discuss them, and well, eventually trying to optimize the documentation a bit.
I'm very supportive of both, to be honest. You've been helping a lot on the website, so your opinion is definitely much appreciated as an approver, as a reviewer, I think. Plus, I also endorse the work refactoring the website, because there's plenty of active development from a technical perspective in Falco and the ecosystem. And yeah, we need to update a little bit. And thank you for taking the lead in this. Thank you.
Thank you. And the other item is, well, a post that just came out today. So you can have a look to it in the preview. It's very, very simple how to use DriverKit to create a driver for Debian using Docker. My idea here is to create different posts for different situations, different use cases. Code-ready containers, OpenShift, Minikube, Alpine. So depending on the complexity, I will add more or less content. In this case, it's based on Docker, so I try to do everything with containers. I have already a couple of ideas in the backlog, like Alpine, how to compile for a driver that is not available immediately. And well, if you have some feedback on it, I try not to make it too long, not too much information. If you think something could be used in a different post to simplify the content, would be very welcome. I'm also trying to point out the typical mistakes, the typical errors that we do when we create configuration files or we haven't installed the headers. So things that will happen when we create our drivers.
This looks great, in my opinion.
If you want to try, you just need a Debian machine with Docker, and it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes.
I think you can hear me, yes. I think we need something exactly what the Falco init loader does. It automatically extracts the version, the kernel release, etc., and is able to have all details to download the correct driver for the current operating system. I think we could replicate that to have in the make file or in a script a way to automatically get all informations and export all environment variables instead of exporting manually each different information, because it's painful and you can do errors basically.
Yeah, you're right. What I'm trying here is to write down the knowledge I've been acquiring using DriverKit, and I want the people using DriverKit to understand how it works. But instead of creating a reference guide, I'm just trying to tell the story so it's a bit more comfortable to read. The idea is that from here we can create documentation, and at the same time I'm things opportunities to improve, you say, the script, to print information about this is the information you should send to the test infra, and we will create the driver for you, or you can do it yourself, and so on and so forth.
Mauro, you had a question when we were talking about documentation, or it was just a thumb up?
It was just clapping.
Okay, clapping, sorry. For the documentation, I have some remarks. Basically, I think we need to apply 3 different stages. First one is to refactor the organization of the documentation. Step 2 is to update the existing section or the existing content. And the third one is to fill the gap, because some documentations are missing. For example, we don't have anything about how to monitor Falco with Prometheus metrics, etc. So I think we have to follow these 3 stages. And for the 2 and 3 stages, I would like the opinion, the feedback from everybody here. I think we have a lot of excellent content, like this blog post from Vicente, and everything is in the format of blog post, not in documentation. So I think people may miss them, and I would like your opinion about how we could extract the most important blog posts like this one, like a blog post Chris did last year or 2 years ago about how to choose a driver, eBPF or module, etc., etc. These blog posts are really valuable, and I think we should extract them to have them directly in documentation. But they are related to authors. We can't just copy paste their content from the blog post to put it in the documentation, because we lose the initial author. So I don't. This is just an idea that what to do with that, because it's really important. From my point of view, this article could be in the documentation directly. Okay, go ahead, Vicente.
I do like your idea, and that's one of the things I like from the Kubernetes documentation. They have the section tasks and the section tutorials. In the section task, they explain how to do something very specific. Let's say you want to create the driver using Docker on Debian, and it goes for that, right? So this information could be extracted from here. And I don't think that's going to be a problem that someone else wrote the blog, because the blog is going to stay there. You could still reference it, and you could summarize it and make the steps. For me, documentation should be a steps to follow. And a blog post is more like, hey, that was my experience.
Yeah,
I agree. I think the original author can still be honored by a co-author on Git, for example. Plus, you could, in whatever part of the documentation you put this stuff, you can always say, hey, this was extracted from this tutorial, this blog post, this story, right? So I don't think, everyone will probably be recognized for their work if we do that correctly. One point about extracting information from all the posts, a big topic that we have with Falco, since it's developing so many new features and changing quite fastly over the past year, at least since I joined the community. Many of these blog posts are sort of deprecated or old, and that doesn't give full guidance. A good example is drivers, right? We started tagging them, and we don't do that right now, but there will be the knowledge of like compatibility spectrum between a Falco version and driver versions. So there's plenty of stuff we need to rethink now that we have plenty of more stuff. Same goes with Cisco's probably. That might be one of the most up-to-date ones, but even plugins to some extent need to be updated in both the documentation and the blog posts. So yeah, I agree on your point. Just expresses some concerns.
And I would just also like to say, for what it's worth, that when most folks come in to the Falco channel and ask questions, it's about documentation, like the official documentation, not about blog posts. At least that's what I've found. And I think I agree with Thomas that we need to incorporate some of this information into our official readme.md files. I mean, we're literally in the middle of updating the driver kit 1 right now, and these examples look great. Vicente, that would be great if we could somehow incorporate them into our official documentation. But yeah, this looks really good.
And it's really important also because if you do a search in the Falco website, it's a mess because the results are from blog posts, from docs, and in different languages. So it's often hard to find out the exact thing you need among all these results, which are not always all available.
Yeah, totally agree. Another, if I can add, another point that we don't address that much is FAQs. Basically, many folks, spin around the same questions over and over again because they just joined the community and maybe the driver doesn't build. I don't know, but there are some questions that are pretty frequent and probably improving like Vicente proposed, improving documentation in an error first approach is what we need right now for all those cases. So I appreciate that idea. Okay. Also, thank you, David, for the feedback. Okay, Aldo, you're next.
Yep, thank you. Just a quick update about the Minikube drivers. In the last few days, I've been working on that, and now the PRs have been falling in the right repos, meaning that I've done a bunch of PRs, one for the kernel crawler, which is in charge of, one for the kernel crawler, which is in charge from to extract all the needed configuration for the kernels. Then I also have done a PR on the driver kit to add a new builder for the Minikube. It was really easy, thanks to a good job that folks are doing there. And right now, I think that this PR here is on the test infra that is the glue that puts together these PRs in order to build the final drivers. And I think that we still need some jobs to be done before merging this one. I think we need to tag the driver kit and have a new release for that, and then update in the test infra. And I think also that the kernel crawler has to do its job and crawl all the needed data, I think, if I'm not wrong, Fede.
Yeah, even if kernel crawler is not really important for these to be merged. But yeah, before tagging driver kit, before updating driver kit on test infra, there are a couple of pull requests on test infra that we really need to review and possibly merge. The 766 and the 772, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this will be next, of course. Thank you, Aldo.
So hopefully, I think that maybe next week or in the next couple of weeks, we will have the Minikube drivers built and ready to be used.
So TLDR, from my understanding, this means that we will need months waiting for Minikube to release in order to make Falco work on it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I've seen that usually the Minikube releases are behind the Falco releases, meaning that they ship some old drivers and people maybe tries to install a new version of Falcon that will not work. And another problem is that Minikube doesn't ship any kernel headers, so there is no way to have an easy way to build the drivers for Falco. So this should solve this problem.
That's pretty helpful. Minikube is part of our tutorials too, so thank you.
Exactly.
Questions on the Minikube point?
I just want to thank.
So, yeah.
I just want to thank all people involved in driver kit in the last weeks. You did an amazing job. We are dealing with more and more operating systems for Falco drivers. It's the project was not a lot maintained a few months ago, and now we have so much PR, so much commits, and You made me proud, guys. Amazing.
Yeah, that's true. Like releasing RiderKit right now is very reactive. Like the moment we have a new thing, we get a new release. We didn't have that a few months ago. That's true. Thomas, you have a point here, right?
Yeah, basically, you know, few weeks ago, Jason removed from Falco, from the core of Falco, the capability to ingest audit logs from the control plane. Now you can do so with a plugin. And based on that plugins, plus some libs I created, I was able to create a plugin for EKS audit logs. Basically, it collects events from CloudWatch logs and ingest them and so. So as it's based on the work from JSON, the plugin was quite easy to write because I don't have to deal with the extraction, with the fields, etc. because everything is already done for the audit log plugin, for the direct audit log plugins. So I think it will be easy for people to create a plugin for GKE, AKS, and other cloud providers or manage Kubernetes. So only a review is missing right now, but I think next week, maybe after, we'll have an official EKS plugin. So people will be able to monitor requests to the EKS API.
That's great work. I've been following sort of the process while you were developing. I think this was like a very good experiment of how we can use parts of other plugins to compose new ones. And I think if we can make it work, it's a win for us. And because we will need that for GKE and AKS in the future as well. So, you know, the community folks asked for that many times in the past. So thank you for working on this. And I'm going to start reviewing the PR in the next few days. Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you, Jen. And the same rules works for all Kubernetes audit log plugin. Either direct from EKS, the same rules can be applied. So it's nice to not reinvent the wheel each time. Yeah.
Then the last point is for Lorenzo.
Yeah, still from the plugin side, as I mentioned on the Slack channel, I wanted to say that I have a proof of concept plugin ready for journald. And I think it has lots of potentials because journald is a log aggregator that it's pretty used. And I would like to ask if somebody is interested in using it, and maybe to help me to build some rules and to get it registered in the official plugin registry. And that's it from my side. Let me know what do you think. I appreciate having feedback for this.
I see Andreas clapping.
Yeah, very good work.
Thank you.
I think the complexity of a journald plugin is the exact content of the log line in journald depends on the softwares behind. So
Yeah.
we have so much different patterns. I don't know how you will deal with that, but
I think it can be used as a trigger for troubleshooting, because I'm thinking about Kubernetes, for instance, and Kubernetes, install the kubelet on the host, and maybe logs to indeed journald, and we can use those logs as a trigger for solving and troubleshooting. So you can know in real time when there's a problem with your kubelet, and then start a troubleshooting session, something like that. Or maybe there are other use cases that are related to other applications.
I think the biggest value of your plugin
Mm.
will be it will allow other plugins to use it. Basically, if you integrate all logic to collect events from journald, and you are able to filter which journalD stream you want. For example, Apache or MySQL or Kubelet. You, after the plugin author, will only have to focus on the logic for feed extraction, and your plugin will be the source of the source, basically.
Yeah.
So it will be really valuable.
Yeah, of course. That could be cool. Thank you.
So Lorenzo, just to understand, are you parsing the message or you are using the meta fields of the entries of journalD?
I'm using a Go library for that, and the events contains the message, the priority, syslog facility.
Okay, so you are taking the metadata and you are generating fields from that. Cool.
Yes.
I'd love to play with that. I've been using journalCTL for many years, and I know how to search with it, but having rules for that sounds amazing.
Cool. I can send you if you want. I can send you. Sure. I have a branch on my own plugin repository, fork, and I will send you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Also, I think a good experiment of like plugin. We mostly focused on plugins on the cloud right now, but that might be a good example of a plugin that reads data from the host. And I can see a good use for it maybe when we have multiple sources in parallel in Falco, right? Enabling both Cisco and that one might give you a good coverage on the host protection. So that's interesting, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I forgot to add an highlight possibly for this week. One of the biggest downside of my implementation of the user group manager was that we weren't able anymore to load the users and groups from Docker containers. Well, we weren't able either before, but we just mixed used the same host users and groups in even in container context. I and Lorenzo last week worked on fixing this by properly supporting for container engines that actually expose this information, loading users and groups for containers, attaching to the overlay FS of the container, and loading from etc password and etc groups. This works fine we tested it on Docker, Podman, and Serai. And I think this should cover at least 80–90% of the use cases. But it's something that it really improves the situation. We needed that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Great work, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just as a reminder, I think these kind of changes are the ones that sort of increase the Falco memory usage a little bit during the next release, right? Because you load more memory. So yeah, as a reminder, everyone, every once in a while when we release, we get like issues that Falco consumes more memory or something like that. Sometimes it's because we fetched more data and we use more memory to reconstruct the system state. So I think that's good. So if you experience something like this in the next releases, then this is maybe why. Same goes for the Kubernetes fixes that Aldo undertook over the past few months. Probably Falco uses more memory because actually it's now able to fetch data from Kubernetes for real. So okay, everyone. If we don't have any more questions or points, I think we should be good to go for today.
I think I can add a last thing. Thank you everyone that has reviewed last week my PR about SINSP testing. I really appreciate it. And today I think I got it into a shape where it can be merged or almost if you want to take a look at it again. And when it's merged, I wish to discuss it further with you, because I think that's something that we were really needing in SINSP, because there are some cases where we break too easily logic in where we just go around and see fields in threads, file descriptors, and everything. So really thank you everyone that has reviewed it, that has liked it, that has suggested things. And after it's merged, I might want to go over it very easily in case someone wants to add tests and is not sure. I'm always available, of course, but maybe next week we'll go over it in a little bit more detail. Thank you all.
Thank you, Luca. Any more points? Then the famous last question is going to be XGC next week. Well, okay, don't push too much. There will be plenty of time during the week, so we're going to discuss this in the channel. Thank you, everyone. See you all next time.